GT car day. Had some GT car driving to do today, just 2 lanes, divided highway through northern Mississippi, so we thought let's pull out the GT cars, and we have no less than 3 involved with us today, and I'm very excited about it.
Okay, look at this. Look at this view I get. A Vanquish, a Portofino M, and the AMG GT. What an incredible grouping. They all have similarities, but they all do different things, and they all strike their owners differently.
We love road trip films. We've done trips all over, finding some of the best roads and places around the US.
But we've never done one like this. 2 weeks, 14 states, and different cars each day. Exploring new roads, comparing great cars. It's part film series, it's part fan meetup, and it's all a celebration of what we do, where we're going, and all the reasons we love to drive.
I'm starting off here in the Portofino. This is a 2022 twin-turbo V8, 8-speed automatic transmission, of course paddle shift. You hear Ferrari, and I certainly think high-strung. I think difficult. I think isn't ever going to settle down. And while it has a flavor of being athletic more than the other 2, it's perfectly happy just doing this, cruising along. Right away, I noticed one of the things that I have been annoyed by in other paddle shift Ferraris, and that is that it doesn't like steady throttle at a high gear. Doesn't matter how nice your foot placement is, it doesn't matter how much nuance you give the pedal, it likes to kind of surge like the engine wants to do something but can't decide. The engine is turning over right now at 2,000 RPM in 8th at 85 miles an hour. Red line is 7,500. It's barely even breathing.
This is Chris's 2017 Mercedes AMG GTS. It is superb. It looks gorgeous in blue. I love this car. I think it is the sexiest Mercedes for a long, long time. I think maybe since the 55 300 SL. Here's what happened. Chris, the owner, decided to take a visit to the museum, the Mercedes Museum in Stuttgart. He was interested in these. We had recommended that he get this after a Jaguar F-Type and the new Nissan Z. And he found this one in San Diego from a 90-year-old owner, and he proclaimed it to be too stiff. So upon inspection, Chris's dealer found the shipping blocks still in the suspension, which of course was not healthy for the car. The dealership made it right. 503 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque out of this gorgeous V8, and a long hood that constantly reminds you of this incredible V8. This has the 7-speed shiftable automatic, and it really sounds superb. You just want to goose it all the time.
Ferrari time. I would say this is actually more in the sports car camp than the GT car camp because it doesn't necessarily like being mundane. Now, it is comfortable. I will give you that. It's got very nice seats. It's easy to drive on a freeway like this. I'm not having to think about it. It's very straightforward. I hate the surging under my foot. That really bothers me. But cruise control could be my friend, I do admit. The engine's bored. That's really what I've come to the conclusion of. The engine is bored. It wants to do something. It's like a hyper dog that hasn't had a walk in a couple of weeks. It needs to get out. There's just kind of a frenetic energy about it. I'm gonna go 8th, 7, 6, 5, 4, Florida. That's a big number. In fact, candidly, that is a bigger number in a shorter period of time than I would have expected. The owners of this Nugget Monica, that's right, he goes by Nugget, they actually have had a series of fun cars, spec Miatas, all kinds of things. Their actual normal fun cars and track cars are 911 GT3s. But they agreed that the 2 of them going somewhere together for the thousands of miles they want to put on their cross-country road trip car, a GT3 was not going to be it. So they went shopping for all the kind of cars we're driving today, in fact. They looked at the Aston Martin Vantage, and they actually really liked it, thought the dynamics were great, except that the interior at the time they were shopping was quite old. They looked at the Bentley because they thought, who does cross-country continent crushers better than Bentley? And they liked it, except Monica's not big. So as a result, the car just dwarfed her, and she was like, well, this is no fun, especially since she comes from Miatas and 911s. It was the wrong kind of car for her. They didn't expect to like a Ferrari. They ordered this car, and they got it 2 years later. They wanted to go with more brown than normally comes in these cars. They didn't want a lot of black in it, so they got Ferrari to do a lot of brown in their interior. It actually looks really great. The back seats are useless. I mean, this is a 2+2. Most of these GTs like this that are 2+2 seating, the back seat is useless, and this is no different. But these front seats are good Ferrari front seats, plus they have the classic striping in them, which is just wonderful. They don't have a daily commute that they're worried about for this car. They are using this car as a road trip beast. 20,000 miles in year 1.
I forgot how much I like this car. It just feels so superb. It just feels so solid. Now, with that solid feeling, of course, you get a heavy car. This is 3,600 pounds, somewhere in there, and it feels like it. On the road, it feels heavy, but there's a precision, that the German precision, just I feel it with the slightest motions of the steering wheel. I feel this ready to rock a racetrack. Speed is nothing to this car. Ignore the number. Put tape over the dash. Ignore the number. This thing is just ready for high speed. I think it's interesting how little these cars have been driven, truly, by many of their owners, because it's such a showpiece. The styling, the broad surfaces, the beautiful fenders, the proportions with this long hood are so classic and pretty. I don't know that after the second generation, the new AMG, are they going to continue? Problem with future models is, I feel like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. This one is at peak powers. You know, the old command system, the old nav system, I thought would bug me, along with the buttons here, because the updated interior had rectangles for all of these buttons. It's so crazy. You've got the palm rest here, but you've also got the little toggle all the way back here. So to put it in gear or park, you've got to reach your elbow all the way back to get it here. But look at this. Giant hood, huge transmission tunnel. See, this is just comfortable right now. This is what you want. I can understand for Chris why he bought this, because to be here, to feel this car, it's a big, heavy car, but when you're shopping, it's what a GT car is. There's different variants, and you can go all the way to a track-ready monster, but I think the GTS is the sweet spot. That must be what it stands for.
I know what you're thinking. Isn't the Portofino a convertible? And technically it is. It's just that the top is, the word I was told is inoperable. It currently doesn't work. Now that is because they have found the problem with it. Again, it's only a couple of years old, right? The top has stopped working, but the part, wouldn't you know it, comes from Italy, and it hasn't bothered to get here yet. Little mundane things upset the car. I'll give you an example. Monica one day, of course accidentally, ran it out of fuel because she believed that the fuel gauge in reserve was like other cars where there was actually a reserve, and when she ran it out of gas, I am not kidding you when I say that every system on the car created a fault. Every one. The list was staggering. The running joke on Ferrari forums is that the more faults you get, well, the less serious the problem. If you get like one fault, that might be catastrophic. So the fact that it ran the gamut is probably a good thing. Of course, they got gas in it, they primed it, they got it running again, all the lights went away, and it was fine. The lane keep assist has that incessant, frantic beep to it all the time, as if something just broke. It's not just like, hey, letting you know, you might have drifted out of your lane. It's like, oh my God, are you aware? Did you hear? This is one of those cars that feels like it's balanced on a gimbal. It just feels like it's sitting on the head of a pin, and everything you do just kind of moves it around like a drop of water. It has an instant response to all inputs that the other two don't match, and that is what makes this very special. This has the adjustable suspension, so I can dial things out. I didn't expect the Portofino to be as comfortable in just doing normal cross-country driving as it is. I see why they bought it. It absolutely does that job incredibly well. Now, let's look at the other side of this conversation. This is an over $300,000 car. And this is one of the entry-level Ferraris. This is one of the cheap ones. But if we're really talking about like cross-country haulers, you can do it cheaper. You can do it a lot cheaper. That AMG was bought used for, oh, not even a third of this, like a quarter. A quarter. Are you going to have that much better an experience here than there? You aren't, candidly.
This car is effortless. The problem is, I know those other two are going to be effortless too. It's going to come down to style. I just know it. I mean, maybe power, but two V8s, V12, they're all different. They all do different things. Different recipe. I could see myself owning one of these. That's how much I like the Mercedes. I like the wing on the back when it opens up, and that ducktail spoiler that opens up, it shows you the crown, how much surface there is. I think once Chris, the owner of this car, latched onto Mercedes and saw the beauty of this car and how well it drives, I think he was blinded to all other choices. But that's what we've got, is choice still. At this point, I haven't driven the other two, but I'm gonna like the GTS a lot. I know it. I kind of suspect what's coming with the Ferrari because I have had seat time in the Ferrari. Haven't driven too many Astons. I'm looking forward to that. That's a big question. Would I drive an Aston?
The emotion control unit. Oh, Aston Martin. I have to kind of like you, don't I, for doing that kind of stuff. I have to kind of decide you're awesome. This is a 2015 Vanquish, the second generation. There has been a third since this. Not the Vantage, not the DB car, the Vanquish. Wow, this is easy to drive. I mean, really, just like, takes no thought. As I trundle through a tiny town in Tennessee that I'm certain will never see another Aston Martin Vanquish. The Ferraris, the Lotuses, and the Porsches don't normally roll through this part of Tennessee. Not common.
The next car on the list is the 2022 Ferrari Portofino M. Portofino M started at $266,000, and they added about $100,000 worth of options. I love the stories that Monica and Nugget have gathered with this car. Not only is it where they've been and what they've done with the car and the travels that it's been on, but it's the dealer stories. But the salesperson actually guided them and advised them to spec it out in such a way that, you know, we're working on your next car. We're working towards a Roma, okay? And they said, no, we're not planning on trading this in. We're planning on driving the wheels off it until it's dead. You don't usually hear that kind of thing at Ferrari dealerships. Many owners drive it like a Ferrari, meaning cars and coffee, tiptoe, don't put too many miles because I got to trade it in for the next one, I got to keep the value high. Not Monica and Nugget. I do see why they got it, because they wanted it for road trips, for taking it everywhere.
This is the oldest of the three GT cars we have today. This is a 2015, so it is a 10-year-old car. And this is still a nicer interior. Now at the time, this was about the same price as that Ferrari. Knew this was high 200s, close to $300,000. This owner bought it about a year ago for about $100,000. It has Aston Martin's 6-liter V12, and this is an interesting testament to the power of turbos, because the power of this car is almost identical to the power of that 4-liter twin turbo in the Mercedes. We're talking about 568 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque, which is similar to that Mercedes, but significantly less than that Ferrari.
Twin turbo, V8, 612 horsepower, 561 pound-feet of torque, and depending on who you ask on the day, it's somewhere between 37 and 3,900 pounds. A proper GT car. What's cool is, despite the different modes that you can have the car in, you've got a shock absorber button next to the engine start. That means you can soften the suspension for a bumpy road, yet still have it in a sportier mode. It also makes the steering wheel look really important. And I love that all the controls are right here, and I have to continually remind myself the turn signals are at my thumbs. But this is a cool car. It feels solid. It feels heavy, but this thing has incredible power. I know this thing is just, it's so suited for high speed. The back roads are coming at us soon. Sorry, dude, you're gonna be waiting for a lot of cool cars, ma'am.
Continue for 5 miles.
Yeah, cool cars back there.
A 6-liter V12 does lead to a wafting experience. This just feels effortless. Even when you ask a lot of it, like, okay, I'm in 6th, 5, 4, that's not bad. Can I go 3? 3. That sounds awesome. And there's such a rush of power. Naturally aspirated engines, when they're done well, are very special. This owner, John, has owned a series of various cars. He likes off-kilter things. He found our show because he was driving a 928 at the time. After that came a Mercedes AMG product, then a Porsche 911. Then he thought, you know, I want something totally different. I've never had a V12. And he started shopping around, and he bumped into the Vanquish and realized depreciation is very much his friend. The interior of this is a combination of like the nicest watchmaker's place and the coolest leather store you've ever been into. It smells wonderful, the materials feel wonderful, all of it has an incredibly high-end luxury feel. While I like the interior on the Ferrari, I get in this interior and I go, oh yeah, I see where the money went. This feels like an interior at a level way above most cars. Quite a bit above that Ferrari, frankly. This is slightly older Aston Martin tech. I mean, you can see this tiny little screen here that folded up at the beginning. I have an ECU, the emotion control unit, in place of a key. Okay, whatever. I've got the tack that winds backwards. This center console is a mix of knobs and haptic things and actual buttons on the steering wheel. A lot of these things have been updated and changed in the more recent versions of the Aston Martin lineup. But this was the era that I really loved the V8 Vantage. This is like the tail end of that era as they headed into new versions of all of their cars.
Okay, we're back in Tennessee. We were in Mississippi and we're back in Tennessee, finding some proper back roads. Compared to the AMG GT, this has, well, a long hood, but not quite as long. I mean, nothing does, right? But this starts to feel more nimble. There's a precision and a lightweight feel, yet this is a heavy GT car.
Now this is a 4,000-pound car. It is the heaviest car of these three, and frankly, it feels it. This feels like an Autobahn runner. I mean, I know the Mercedes, obviously, and the Ferrari can do it, but this feels like a car made for the Autobahn. Not made for back roads, not made for when things get tight. It's just a little bit too long-legged and frankly posh for that. This wants you to just sit back, know that the engine has plenty of power, and cruise across an entire continent or three. Everything works, it all feels very high-end. I mean, I want to do the auto journalist thing. I just want to touch everything in here because it's all incredibly well done. Nothing about the quality of this feels like a 10-year-old car. Some of the technology lets you know that it is, but if you got into this right now and I told you this were a $100,000 car, I think you'd say, is that all? That's, of course, what it costs now. You're still maintaining a car that the original MSRP was $300,000, and it's a naturally aspirated V12.
Ferraris, like horses, require a lot of care and feeding. You think cars are expensive, horses on the badge. I think that's why the horse is on the badge, because horses require so much attention and care and feeding and stuff that Ferraris are in that category. Monica Nugget, unfortunately, had a broken windshield, cracked windshield on a prior trip. And the windshield, to my understanding, was about $7,000 to replace. So you have to remember that when you buy a Ferrari, it's a relationship between you and your Ferrari dealer is really what it comes down to. The car just happens to be the centerpiece of the conversation. So when you use mane and tail shampoo to clean her up and pat her on the nose, give her a bag of oats, maybe a carrot, properly shod, glistening coat, she's ready to run for you. Okay, I'll stop. I'll just see myself out. It's funny when you say I'm driving a Ferrari. What does that conjure up? I love the leather. I love the seating position. I love the power. Aha! That's special. This car wants to eat the miles. It does. It just wants to run. The exhaust note is not tiring on this car, low or high RPM. Some performance cars just have a cool but tiresome exhaust note. This car is designed for the miles.
Here's a surprising one. The only thing that feels cheap in here is actually the turn signal stalk. It feels like something out of a lesser vehicle. It just has a too light, too plasticky feel, and I'm being picky, but you are going to touch that every time you're in the car. That's the only thing I've touched in here that actually cheapens it. Obviously, the outdated tech ages it, but it doesn't feel cheap. It just feels like it's been surpassed. But you can just hang out in this car, and it's been joked about before. Aston Martin is one of those luxury brands that people respect but don't seem to ever hate. If the other two check all the boxes of what makes a GT car, this puts a bow on it. It says, I see all that, but I'm going to just give you one layer above it as far as niceties are concerned and specialness. Now, not performance. I want to be clear here. This performs very well. It doesn't outperform the other two, and I'm certain that the Ferrari would be the best track car of all three. Not that that's why you bought it. With the Mercedes right behind it, the Ferrari feels definitely smaller than this. This feels very long and narrow. It feels like a speedboat almost. It has that kind of idea about it, where it feels like the nose goes on forever, but it's not that wide comparatively. What is this thing? I'm so tempted to drive underneath that. That's terrible, isn't it? I bet I'd fit. The Amira would fit. I shouldn't do that. That would be really bad, but I am so tempted.
And I think we're good. Pickwick Dam. Pickwick Dam, here we are. I'll be your damn tour guide. Pickwick Dam, everyone. Oh, this is cool. I like it.
I'm in my Mercedes AMG GT. I bet you them there houses over there are worth a fortune. I mean, America. Not sure why we need an American flag on every single light pole, but here you are. There ain't no water on that side. There's all the water on this side. I mean, I got my Ford pickup, right? But this is the special occasion car. Them Germans, the Krauts, they know how to make a car. I'm telling you right now. This is kind of high up here. Don't want to be afeard of heights, but I might be. Damn, it's finished already. All right, well, here we are in the other part of Tennessee. Don't know what to tell you other than yeehaw. Sorry. Or you're welcome, depending. Roads are better. I have to admit, the roads here in Tennessee are better than I thought they'd be. They are actually better than they were in Mississippi. What is this old place? That's kind of cool. That's one of them there tourist attractions. Yeah. Got little cabins, and they got areas for you to have a picnic and get the youngins, go out there, get something fresh off the smoker, go over into, I think it was called Frosty King. Yeah, that was a place where I'm sure they do the ice cream, right? Apparently on this journey, once you got me to the south, I have dual personalities, and I just randomly break into the most southern version of myself. And my son gets frightened. My wife stops calling me, and then at some point I break out of it. It's hard, I gotta admit. It's you know, just kind of settle into a warm bath and be like, all right, this is what I'm doing now. When this GT was first introduced and weighed 3,600 pounds, we were kind of appalled. We thought, that's way too big for a sports car. What are you doing? Even a GT should weigh less than that. But here's the crazy thing. 3,600 pounds in the modern time, you are at a sports car weight. The C8 weighs that. First thing I noticed in this car is that the steering is impossibly light. There's really not feel here because the steering wheel is, I mean, I could literally, yep, I thought so. I can drive it with my pinky. I don't recommend that. Please don't do that, but you could. You absolutely could.
I don't know where to start. Is it the interior? Is it the style? Is it the V12? Sport mode, manual shifting V12. Oh, That is special. This hulk of car just picks itself up and hurtles down the highway. This is a 5.9 liter V12, 568 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque, naturally aspirated, delightful, beautiful sounding. I like this car a lot. 2015, just 10 years ago from right now, a used Miata short of $300,000. Exotic, yeah. Exotic price, sure. The looks go along with that. You get what you pay for. 35,000 miles, just over. He paid 108. 108,000. Good news, everybody. Aston Martin Vanquishes from 2015 are now 108 grand. The mileage doesn't even feel like it. It feels brand new. I doubt there's a difference how it drives from brand new. It is solid. It's interesting. It's the heaviest of all three cars. Celebrate the weight. 3,800 pounds and change. Although with today's modern BMWs, it's a lightweight, but still, you feel the weight of this thing. It feels actually weirdly nimble. I mean, I feel the weight through the steering wheel, but it suddenly feels strangely nimble. Not like it's going to corner like a track car, but this feels light on its feet with the weight. It's the oddest feeling. Sport mode stiffens the shocks, so it's got a nice, taut, very tight ride, and then it's got this huge, there's so much car ahead of me. There's so much beautiful car ahead of me. It's got the heavy solidity of the Mercedes. It's got a light input. Even though the front end feels very heavy, it's a light steering rack guiding a very heavy front end. Strangest feeling. That's the Aston feeling. You know what? The only thing that feels dated is the screen. Everything else looks great. For a 10-year-old car, the seats look superb. You remember the doors? They lift up slightly to avoid curbs. And the car is just gorgeous. This feels expensive. There's so many newer cars that are more expensive and don't give you as much as a 10-year-old used Vanquish does.
This car, in any version we ever drove it, always felt like a merging between a 911, which it is competing with, and a muscle car. And this is early in the life cycle of that first Mercedes GT, and that is they hadn't updated it to all of the latest tech from Mercedes yet. This doesn't have the M-Buck system, which is a big improvement. This didn't move some of the drive modes and that kind of thing onto the steering wheel yet. Of course, some of those things that they moved onto the steering wheel became haptic disasters. This still has a very simple steering wheel with really nice buttons on it, but you do have to come over here to change it to Sport. Suspension gets stiffer, Sport Plus, engine gets angrier, Race, because you're going to track this car. In fact, the owner has tracked it. He was with us at our COTA event for Hooked on Driving, and he actually tracked this quite a bit, and it did really well.
Throw out the cornering, throw out the track mindset, throw out everything about lightweight fun cars. Introducing the heavyweight fun car. That's right, but it's solid and it's welcome. It feels interesting. Talk about wafting along in perfection. This thing's in great shape. You could saw through the miles in this car. Ooh, the suspension is very compliant, but still just the right amount of feedback. Yeah, tight ride over the bumps when it's in sport mode. Very tight, very fluid. I'm intrigued. It's just so pretty. It sounds great. And who doesn't want to say they own a V12? V12. This is a special, cool car.
This is Chris's daily in downtown Houston. He actually loves driving a big GT car that he can drive around Houston where he doesn't have to worry about it, which is why the automatic transmission and the wonderful seats. These seats are well bolstered. I actually feel like I could go down any mountain road I could find in this and be very, very happy. The rotation in this car is deceiving because the hood feels so immense, but you can tell that the wheels are back from that front bumper because the rotation point is actually closer to you, and the sensation is quicker than the nose suggests with what you're seeing out of the front glass. This is a big car, there is no question. All the visual cues of it are that it's massive, but thankfully it does rotate very quickly. And even though I'm aware that this is a bad road, there's no steering feel here. It's soaking things up. In fact, I should probably be in comfort mode because this road is terrible. I got a little better, and the steering got worse. Okay, back to Sport Plus. I think my only real critique of the Mercedes GT is I would actually like even more variation between the modes. I get that you can select things, there's individual mode in here, you can mix and match. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the comfort mode should be even more comfortable.
Turn sport mode off, and we're gonna just put it in drive, and it's just gonna float. The car relaxes, and now it's just a V12 highway bomber. Ooh, I like this thing. This is the nice lean back car. After a good lunch, lean back and enjoy the scenery in this one. The seats are quite good. I've always questioned why the Aston Martin controls are at the transmission tunnel. But I think I just answered my own question, because if you need to adjust the passenger seat, you just reach over and you've got the controls right here. That's why. Plus, I think they look good for photos. You take a photo of the interior, you see it right there. It's some other visual element to break up the surfaces.
This AMG does Grand Touring so well, so effortlessly. It doesn't feel as special as the Aston. It doesn't feel as ready to go as the Ferrari. But I can totally understand how Chris wants to put miles on this. This is absolutely a cross-country hauler. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? I mean, decent trunk space, not astounding, but decent trunk space. You've got this partial shelf behind me as well. You can figure it out. Of course, nothing up front but engine. And what I like about this is this says something very different than buying a 911. You could certainly buy a 911 for similar money. You could argue that the 911 will be less maintenance over time, even though Porsche maintenance is quite expensive. This will probably need more than the Porsche will. But this is a car that legitimately gets stopped at gas stations. People ask about this car. It has a presence to it. It has a grandeur to it that a 911 can't do. And this is a fantastic 911 alternative. And because it's an AMG and they are dropping so fast, you could find a deal on one of these. If you're not trying to find the edges of a car all the time, why not be even more comfortable and even classier in this Mercedes GT? This is the bargain of these three cars. You realize that? There's tons of these out there for well below 6 figures, and the other two, good luck.
But if I had to choose, I know you're asking me, I still think I'm gonna, I love the Mercedes. I love how the Mercedes looks. It's a tighter, more severe design, whereas this is just sexy shapes. So I'm gonna go right in between because I think I'm gonna nurture my Ferrari love. These are special cars. Thanks to all three of their owners, and thanks to our sponsors for making this entire road trip happen. I love seeing what Todd and I have influenced and what we haven't. Many times, people have heard us talk about various cars, they've tried something, they've completely disagreed, and they've found something else unexpected that they love, and that also is a victory. Thanks to Power Stop Brakes, Griot's Garage, Vredestein Tires, Autotempest.com/everyday, TrackDayTire.com. We're thankful for your partnership, your support, and your friendship, and for proliferating the disease. Okay, so now you've got choices when you're GT car shopping. All we needed to do is add a Lexus LC500, and we do like it, but the problem with that one is the interface. That holds me back. It's a sexy, beautiful design too. Maybe the Jag F-Type, maybe, but it's not at the level of these three, or the Lexus 2.
John, thank you for bringing this car. You and your son Aiden, it's awesome to have you with us. It's really cool that you found us through the 928 content and have followed along. I love that you brought this car. When you put it out there on the list of possible cars for us to drive on this trip, I thought, I've never even seen one. What's it like to drive one? And excellent is the answer. Not for everyone. Frankly, not quite agile and small enough for my tastes. But as a grand touring thing on our grand touring day, brilliant. So good. It's not sharp like that Ferrari. It's not muscly and a little bit grumbly with a little bit of attitude hiding in it like the Mercedes. This is just grand. This puts the grand in Grand Tourer. It is hanging out, but not disruptive. I don't know how really to describe that to you. There's no question that it's powerful and menacing. This is a butler that used to be in the SAS. Plenty deadly, absolutely capable, never gonna let you know it because he's got a suit on and his job is to buttle. That's 1,500 RPM at 80. 1,500. It's quiet. Engine doesn't need to do much. 7, 6, 5, 4, gone.
There's a delicacy to this car that I always mistook for fragility, but that's not true. The more Ferraris I drive, the lightweight feel, the construction where it feels almost breakable, cannot be mistaken for bad build quality or poor durability. I think that's the Ferrari recipe. And by the way, you get a fantastic engine, wonderful sound. If you drive a Ferrari every day, like the owners of this car do, well then that makes it an everyday driver. Yes, even a Ferrari.
After the perfect cars for our transit day, we ended up east of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And as excited as kids before Christmas, tomorrow is the day. The road everyone talks about. We're going to Tail of the Dragon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
You know what I need to do is judge all three of these cars based entirely on leather smell of the interior. And in that case, the Ferrari also wins. The Aston is second, the Mercedes is third, although Mercedes has the quilted leather. This has the perforated diamond-esque shaped leather, but the Ferrari has the Daytona seats and it smells the best. So I'm gonna just make my choice based on smell. Leather smell. Yeah, that's fair.
I have an idea. It's a stupid idea, but I have an idea. I think this lane departure warning is almost doing the Lone Ranger. I think it is. Hang on. Here we go. Dun-dun-dun-dun. You hear it? Dun-dun-dun-dun. Come on now.